Hello everybody, it's Keris here helping you get your business into schools and nurseries, and I am absolutely delighted to be having a catch up with my client Cath today. So Cath, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone watching?
Hello, I'm Cath. I run bilingual sing classes in Blackpool and Wyre. I've been running classes since March 2018, so we've just had our 4th year birthday. Bilingual sing is a musical sensory class for children to help little ones between 0 and 11 to learn a second language. So I teach French and Spanish using lots of songs and activities for little children. Really enjoy it.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. And what were you doing before your business, by the way?
I used to be a teacher. So I was in primary schools. I've worked in primary schools all my life.
Yeah.
So worked with early years right through to year 6. So I'm very used to going into schools and working with children. And then I took a little bit of time out, moved abroad, and then I came back, decided I didn't want to be a primary school teacher anymore, and took this on.
Cath, do you know how similar your story is to mine? Did you know that it was because I moved abroad to Thailand that, and I saw that I could be really, really creative teaching dance in Thailand, and so I came back and set up a dance business instead of carrying on teaching.
Wow.
We've got really, really similar. And I thought it was important to kind of ask you about that, because I know we've got a lot of kind of teachers watching who are sort of teachers thinking of starting a new business or have recently started a new business and they have a teacher background. And I think it's really going to be really interesting to hear your story, apart from the fact it's super inspirational for everybody to hear, but also it's that transition from the teacher mindset to the business mindset, isn't it?
Yes.
Which it's been a steep learning curve for you, hasn't it?
It has been a steep learning curve. I mean, it's totally different. Learning all about marketing and business and jumping into that side of things has been really, really tricky. But also knowing that you can work in schools and nurseries and then thinking, nobody wants me. That is a very difficult thing to think about. And it is a mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember when I met you, actually, Cath, because I met you via your franchise, didn't I? I think I was delivering a franchise training at the time.
Yes.
And I met you then quite a long time ago now, wasn't it? But because you've been in the academy for a year now, and it was before that. But I remember us having a conversation. I don't know if you remember this, Cath. You were telling me that you'd been in your school role, you'd been responsible for some of the admin in the office, hadn't you, with the emails?
I'd been responsible for taking on extra curricular providers. I'd been the person who used to open the mail and make those decisions and take them to the head as to whether we should have somebody in the school or not.
Amazing. So you've literally seen it from the other side. So you were that gatekeeper I talk about.
I was the gatekeeper. Sorry.
But I thought I'd bring this up because, do you know when you brought this up when we were doing your franchise training, and you said to me, you said, when I was in charge of taking emails to the head and letters to the head and saying, do you think this is a viable option for us to have for clubs? And you said to me, oh, nobody ever approached me using these methods. Nobody ever approached me like this. And at the time in my head, I was like, oh, what's Cath going to say? Is she going to say that this would never work? This would never wash with me. I'd immediately hit delete on anything like this that came through. I was like, for a minute, I was really worried. And I remember saying to you, oh, if somebody had sent you an email like this, do you think you would have taken it to the head? And I remember you saying, yes, I think I would.
Yes. Yeah, because most of the emails that came through and letters and promotional stuff was selling. Everything was, this is what we do, this is how much it is. And you just look at it and go, we can't afford that. We've no idea who you are. We don't know if it's good enough. We don't know what your activities are like. So the way that you do it with the letters and the emails and getting a conversation going with people first, getting to know people first is so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone who's been kind of learning my methods this week and is still thinking, oh, I think I'll still want to put my prices in my email, don't. You've heard it from the gatekeeper's mouth. Don't do it. Fab. Oh yes, thank you for that. So let's talk about, obviously you already had, you already had some training available through your franchise from me and some coaching available on a regular basis through your franchise with me as well. What then made you decide to come on a free challenge as well?
Yeah, I did 2 free challenges. So I did the first free challenge I did was in January, February
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
And I got lots from it. I really did. And I sent out my first email campaign to schools and nurseries, but nobody was allowing us in. And they didn't allow us in until September.
Oh,
So
so
nobody
late.
answered. I didn't get any replies. I felt a bit disheartened, but I understood
Yeah.
we weren't allowed to go in this area. We couldn't go in and work. So I took up the challenge again, and I did it at this time last year. I was
Ah,
on the
yes.
challenge, so it was April last year.
Yes.
And it was then that, I started getting replies from people, which was absolutely fabulous. And I decided to then join the academy.
Amazing. So let's talk about that then, because you didn't join the academy on your first free challenge. You joined
No.
it on your second free challenge. And why was that? Why had you decided not to join on the first one?
First free challenge, I'll be honest, I didn't have any income.
Yeah.
It
No, of
was
course.
just dire. Got no income coming in apart from just a little bit from our parent community classes.
Yeah.
I really couldn't afford it. I couldn't join, it was just one of those things. I would
Yeah.
love to have done it, but I really couldn't at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we did the second challenge, things started to fall into place a little bit more. So I
Yeah.
got more idea of what I wanted to do. And even though at that time, again, I didn't have really very much income at all,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling that this is going to work.
Yeah.
And I will invest in my business, and I will join the academy.
But you were still on the fence until about 11 o'clock at night on the Sunday at midnight, weren't
I
you?
was,
Because I remember
yes,
you were one of my last people to join at
I
11
was,
o'clock at midnight.
yeah,
And
yeah.
why were you still on the fence, would you say? Can you remember?
Oh, it was really a financial decision.
Yeah.
It came down to that. At
Yeah.
the time, with no income coming in, and
Yeah.
it was that I've got to save because I've got to pay my bills, and I didn't
Yeah.
have any money to pay my bills, and it was just a really, really tricky time.
Yeah.
But obviously things have changed since then. And
Yeah.
since joining the academy, I'm so glad that I did, even
Yeah.
though I was that last minute person
Yeah.
sat on the fence. I had about half an hour to
We
go.
always get last minutes. We always get last minutes. In fact, last time we opened the doors to the academy, we had it was 9 o'clock at night on the Sunday night, and 50% of the new joiners for the academy last time all signed up between 9 and 10 p.m.
Wow.
There are a lot of people like you, a lot of last minute Louises.
That's me.
But what was it you told me about the club? You kind of thought, oh, well, if I maybe I won't join yet. Maybe I'll just try and get one more club on board and then I'll join. What changed then? Why did you decide you'd join anyway instead of trying it out yourself?
Yeah, because I was thinking, if I can get into at least one nursery, just one nursery, I will have got that income back to afford to pay for the academy. And I
Yeah.
thought, there's no way that I can do that without some support. And
Yeah.
I needed that little bit of a push. And having done the 5-day challenge twice and seen what you can get out of it, and I knew that all the resources are there, everything is in the academy that's going to be so helpful to you. That's why I decided, let's go for it. you know?
Yeah. So you were like, I know I need another club really to be able to afford it, but actually, if I join the academy, why not get 5 clubs and then I've
Exactly.
profited on top? That was your
Exactly.
attitude.
That was
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah.
Love it. And Danny's here and she's saying the same thing. I was last minute too. Lots of you were, Danny. Lots of you were. I was very busy at 9 o'clock at night. But yeah, Danny said, so I interviewed Danny yesterday, and Danny said the same thing. She said that she joined on her second free challenge
Yeah.
and wished she'd just done it the first time, because
Yeah.
she realized that because you get the support from the get-go, you haven't got to worry about the sales stuff because you'll be supported to do it from the beginning,
That's
instead of
exactly it.
going to a few meetings and not closing the sale and then feeling really disappointed, kind of thing.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all super supportive. There's loads of great ideas, information. Everybody shares as well, which is fabulous. So everybody, you know, are congratulating each other, and yeah, it's just a really good group to be in.
And do you know what I love as well? Because I would say around 50% of people in the Approaching Schools Academy are franchisees, and 50% of people in the Approaching Schools Academy are independents. So we've got a bit of a mix, and some are franchisors as well, even. So we have got a real mix. But what I love is, even though there are different companies that are potentially maybe in the same niche, same sort of
Yeah.
industry, you are so supportive of each other. You know,
Yeah.
I see people from one franchise supporting people from another franchise, helping them out with ideas for their next kind of free demo in assembly, or helping them out with little ideas of how they can tweak their letter. I just love that.
Yes.
I didn't even know that we would have that in the community,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
is how supportive you guys are of each other. That it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're from another business that also does a similar thing to you, you will support each other anyway, and
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's fabulous, and it's really good that everybody does support each other. It gives you a boost as well, and it also gives
Yeah.
you a level of accountability.
Yes.
So that, yeah, you can say, this is what I've done and this is what I'm looking forward to doing next. So
Yeah. So tell me about the accountability then, because you're very good at turning up on like the business coaching calls and checking in with me once a month. So what does that mean to you in terms of being able to make progress and kind of do some implementation in your business and take action? What, like, being able to check in with me on a monthly business coaching call as well as the weekly Q&As, what does that mean to you?
yeah, it just means that there is somebody there supporting all the time.
Yeah.
That if you get a bit stuck, there is somebody that you can ask. And you've got all the other people who are in the group as well, who are quite willing to give up their time, give you ideas, give you some support. And then you can say, look, this is what my target is going to be. This is what I'm looking to do next. And you've got all that help that's there behind it. So you've got the mindset coaching, you've got the business coaching, you've got the Q&As. So it's whatever help that you need, there's somebody there who's able
Yeah.
to help you out with it, to support
It
you.
has everything you need if you want to approach schools and nurseries and sell to them. Yeah, brilliant. Now, you've had a question actually, Cath, which before you answer it, 'cause this is a really interesting question, and I know Cath will be super happy to answer you, Lisa. But before you do, Cath, tell us about what happened. So you said that you know, in your area, in the Blackpool area, the nurseries and schools were much, much later before they started letting providers in. You know,
Yeah,
you were waiting until the next academic year, which was
yeah,
September,
yeah,
before they were even entertaining the idea of having you in. And,
yeah.
you know, so you'd had this period of time where, like you said, you couldn't pay the bills, you
Mm.
know, the schools and nurseries weren't letting you back in. And you were really looking forward to the time when at least your original nurseries, at least you could go back to them. But what happened then?
My original nurseries, I was in a few nurseries pre-COVID, and more than 50% of them closed down. They never reopened after COVID. So I was left with just 2 classes a week. That was it. They were the only ones that reopened. All my others had gone, and they haven't reopened since, which was really difficult. Fortunately, the 2 nurseries that did reopen and take me on, they they did take me on in September, and I've been back there ever since. I'm very, very happy with them. Love going in. Lovely, lovely nurseries. Absolutely fabulous.
Oh,
Yeah, I got nothing. There were no nurseries. I wasn't in anything up to the summer. So August, I had nothing at all. And September, I got taken on by a couple of nurseries. But then the first set of nurseries as a direct from the academy. Now, I started the academy a year ago today. So a year ago when I started. The first time I was allowed to go in, I started in, did some tasters in September. And that September, the tasters just kept coming in and in and in. And, you know, I was getting like 3-4 tasters a week. It was just really, really busy.
really snowballed, didn't it?
Yeah, from the September. And then I got taken on by an entire nursery chain and then another entire nursery chain. So come November, I was fully booked. So that was just from August up to November. I'd gone from nothing to totally fully booked.
So from August to November, what's that? So September, October, November, less than 3 months.
Yeah, less than 3
You've
months.
gone from nothing to fully booked in 3 months. Guys, if you're watching, please find the clapping emoji for Cath. That is phenomenal in itself, and we haven't even got to the good stuff yet. And by the way, the title above my video is wrong. It's more than 19 sessions a week, I've just discovered. So please give some love to Cath if you are currently watching, and you can use the comments to do that, because that's super inspiring. And with regards to Lisa's question then, how long did it take to get the first one on board when you started putting these methods in motion?
The first one, it was by October. So, but we were only allowed in from September. So although it was a month, I had done a couple of tasters in schools in July because I was allowed to go into schools just to do a taster in July. But the actual booking, the sales, they started coming through sort of October. I think would be the first one.
Okay.
And then it went mad.
It did go mad. It went absolutely mad after that. Yeah. So hopefully that helps your answer, Lisa. But again, super inspirational, you know, not only to kind of go from naught to fully booked in 3 months, but actually within 1 month of schools allowing you to go in and do demos and things like that. You know, straight away then you had your schools on board, which is just tremendous. So fast forward then, because we did one of these interviews around about that time, wasn't it? It was towards the end of last year. And you sort of, I think you had around 12 sort of nursery and school sessions on the timetable. And you were saying to me, Keris, I'm getting fully booked. And you were saying, I don't know if I can do any more, like I can't physically fit any more in. And I remember you saying to me, you were going to have to like teach the nursery children while they were having their breakfast or something just to fit it
in. No time.
You were literally, it was like a jigsaw puzzle, and you were like, where can I move this to here and this to here? And didn't you end up just cancelling some of your community classes?
I've cancelled 2 of my community classes because I just couldn't fit in. I was traveling to one nursery, then I was coming back for 2 community classes, then I was going back past the nursery I'd been to in the morning to go to a school club in the afternoon, and it was just chaos.
I don't know how you were doing it. I was tired just listening to your day, basically.
I just couldn't do it.
No. And you were saying at that time, I remember you were saying, I'm thinking that I will need to take on a team member. And I know at the time you had almost I hope you won't mind me saying, do you feel it would be a little bit of a limiting belief when you were sort of thinking, well, I don't know that I can take on a new team member to grow my business if I'm only just bringing in the money now myself? Doesn't that mean I'm going to have to give up a chunk of money and give it to them? So now that we're past that phase, and I put a lovely new bonus module into the Approaching Schools Academy called Attracting Your Dream Team Member, Have you got that team member now?
Yes. I advertised for one to coincide with November because that was when we started being really busy. I was hoping that the team member will be able to start in December. That didn't happen. We got training and all sorts of things that we had to do. So she actually started with me in February. So I do have a team member now.
I love it.
Which is super. So she's taking on some of my nurseries. So she's working in nurseries, and she's had a lovely contract with the school as well,
Nice.
in PPA for a whole
great.
every
Oh,
week.
amazing. Whole school PPA for modern foreign languages. That's the dream, right?
It is. So this is all the reception children.
Oh wow, for reception.
Yeah.
That's so nice that they're giving reception PPA cover in languages.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Oh wow. Brilliant. So let's get on to that then, because you obviously last time we spoke around about September time, you had about 12 or 13 on the timetable, 12 or 13 nursery and school sessions on the timetable. Now that you've been able to also take on a team member, I mean, I thought, and based on what it says on the top of this video, guys, I thought Cath was currently delivering about 19 sessions a week, which is super impressive. To go from 0 middle of last year to have 19 sessions on the week is awesome. But I did worry for your sanity doing all of that without a team member on board.
So did I.
Now that you've got a team member on board, how many are you actually able to deliver per week?
Per week, this week has been our busiest week. So we have delivered this week schools and nursery sessions. We've delivered about 24, 25 school nursery sessions just this week alone.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where we're up to.
Wow. And of course, you've got other community classes on the timetable as well.
Community classes. So this week, me and my teacher, with the community classes, we've delivered about 30, just coming up to 30 classes.
That is an amazing example of how you can scale quickly, going from thinking you might need a teacher, but not necessarily wanting to part with some money to make that happen because you'd only just started getting the money in. Then kind of, getting some coaching on bringing the team member in, finding someone suitable for you and training her up to be able to scale up to 30 odd sessions a week, inclusive, but 25 of those be your nurseries and your schools. So are you starting to see the ripple effect now? Obviously, the Approaching Schools Academy is a very focused strategy for approaching schools and nurseries, hence the name. But are you starting to see the knock-on effect in the rest of your business with your community classes as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And it's sort of helping me to be more focused on what I'm doing and what I can deliver, and it's helping me to move my business forwards as well, which is brilliant.
Amazing. I love it. So let's talk results then. Because like you say, 25 new schools and nurseries on the weekly timetable shared between yourself and your new team member, other community classes going on as well. But from the schools and nursery stuff, and just from what you've learned in your last year in the Approaching Schools Academy, as it's your 1 year anniversary today, in terms of literally the schools and nurseries you've had on board as a result of investing in yourself and coming on board in the academy a year ago, what has that meant to you income wise? Because let's face it, as much as I talk about having a bigger impact on children's lives, reaching more of the disadvantaged children, etc., we're all in business, right? So everyone kind of wants to know what could I be making from schools and nurseries if I focus on this being a proper strategy for my business. So what does it look like in your business numbers wise at the moment, Cath?
At the moment, weekly, it's an additional £550 a week, which is brilliant because I couldn't have made £550 for a year ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it's working out at about an additional £2,000 a month, which is fabulous.
That is fantastic, Cath. Who here watching would like to make an additional £2,000 a month in their business just from having a focused strategy and taking action? Let me know in the comments. Because Cath, did you ever think when you were, and perhaps you watched one of these videos, I don't know if you can
Yeah,
remember a year
lots.
back. Oh, yeah, no. Um, did you ever think you would be in this position
No,
telling me that you had an additional recurring consistent revenue of £2,000 a month?
no, not at all. No. Yeah.
You've done amazing. So going from not being able to pay the bills in April to none of your schools and nurseries opening in September to finding out more than 50% of your existing nurseries were never going to reopen or have you back,
Yeah,
to becoming fully booked, to taking on a team member, to delivering 25 additional school and nursery sessions per week.
yeah.
We won't worry about the other 5 or 6 community classes that you're somehow fitting in. Just phenomenal, Cath. Like, you've
Yeah.
just done amazing, amazing. And I remember you saying that the recurring, the sort of extra 2K per month, what's that equated to over the last year, would you say? Because obviously it's term time and we've got to take that into effect.
Yes,
But
exactly.
what's been the impact across a year now, so you can really measure how this has helped your business?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it means that I can pay my bills now, which is always a bonus.
Yeah.
And I can do things with my business now that I couldn't do before. I was saving the pennies and, watching what I was doing and, but it's just had such a good impact on the business, and it's also on my life as well, which is wonderful.
So pleased for you. I'm so pleased for you, Cath. It's amazing. Like, honestly, like I'd listen to you in absolute awe at what you've done over the last 12 months. I really do, which is why I was so happy when you said you'd come on and do a little progress update. I just love hearing people's progress, especially now that we're kind of 1 year on. It's great to see that effect because,
Yeah,
some people might have taken courses in the past where they've had a little bit of success early on, but it's all a bit kind of smoke and mirrors in terms of the fact that it's not sustainable. Whereas what you found is you're now earning a consistent additional 2K per month,
yeah,
and you're maintaining it to the point where you can now scale it and put money into other parts of the business, whether that's taking
exactly,
on a team member or whatever.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
and it, even just paying the bills is huge, Kath.
Which is huge.
But to be able to have that on top, so it's making a difference to your life as well, is just fantastic. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
yeah,
And did you say it's like an extra £20,000 before you joined? Was that what you figured it out to be around?
yeah. It's going to be around about that since joining the academy. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Let's see what some people are saying. Lots of people are giving you their best and saying congratulations and well done. Lisa's saying, well done, Cath. That's amazing. Gillian would like to be in this position as well in a few months' time as well. Gillian, we can get you there. If you're coming in the Approaching Schools Academy this week, we can get you there too. Lisa says, I'm just starting out in my new business venture. Literally launched my business this month. I have a dream vision to grow my business, but obviously feel that I can't run before I can walk. Yeah, because you're probably just quite excited and eager to get everything you've learned this week out there, aren't you? What would you say to that, Cath?
Yeah, I completely understand that. You just want to sort of get going, but if you just take little steps, you're only going to make little progress, and sometimes you just need to do that big. Just take things on and see where they go.
Yeah, it's those bigger actions that do bring the bigger results, as you found.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Oh, Lisa says you must feel very
Yeah, thank
proud.
you.
Mike says great inspiration. Danny says, Lisa, I had only just started out too. Yeah, Danny's business, I think it was September, Danny, your business. You can definitely do it if it's something you
Yeah,
want to do. Yeah. And have a chat with people like Danny this week as well. Who can sort of help you think about how you can make it work for your business, basically, because it is a step by step, isn't it? I mean, Cath, you have access
yeah,
to the Approaching Schools Academy platform, which is like your
yes,
online course, if you like. It's self-study, you can dip in and out, you've got videos, templates, worksheets, but it's step by step, isn't it? Tell us a bit
Yes.
more about how you found that.
It is. So it's really helpful because you just take one little bit at a time and you can just keep going through it and work at it at your own pace. I think I've probably gone through the whole process 3 times over the
Amazing.
last
That's what I
year.
want.
I've really done that. And
Yeah.
what I'm now doing is choosing my own little campaigns, but then
Yes.
go back into the academy and find things. So I did a
Yes.
look mail campaign just for a few nurseries, and I had a look in the academy. There's a whole thing on letters, so I'd gone in there, taken inspiration from that, and then went off and implemented it. So I didn't do the whole thing,
Yeah.
just taking those little bits that are there, because that's super helpful as well.
Yeah, and of course, once you've been through it once, like you say, you don't need to go through the whole 9 yards again, because we have a module called Review and Repeat, and it teaches you which bits to go back and pay attention to in your last campaign. And if
Yes.
you've already got that format, it's yes, you're going to be writing a new email, but you've already got everything else in place. You've already got
Yeah.
your mail merging system in place if you're using one. You've already got your database of schools and nurseries in place. You've done the groundwork, and now
Yeah.
it's a case of reviewing, tweaking, and repeating
Yeah.
and scaling as you have done. So I'm so pleased to hear you say that, because what I think a lot of people don't realize is you get a full 12 months to that platform. And the
Yes.
reason I give you that is not because it's going to take you 12 months. In reality, it's going to take you no more than 12 weeks to go through the first 10 modules. When we first released this, I ran it as a 12-week course to see how long it would take people to go through it. And it gave them 12 weeks. It took them 12 weeks. So to hear that you are now repeating the cycle 3 or 4 times, that's music to my ears, because that's how I designed the academy to be, is that you only need a few months in there. But if I give you 12 months in there, you can repeat, and tweak and improve and scale as you go. And that's exactly what we need to be doing, because as I always say, approaching schools is never a one and done thing. We're
No.
going to have to approach them multiple times. We're going to have to be sending multiple campaigns. It's not going to be, like a one-hit wonder kind of magic pill. You are going to have to do the work, but you've absolutely used the academy in the spirit that it's intended, and you've reaped the rewards straight away. So
Yeah. And thank you very much.
you're welcome. You're
Because
more than
without the
welcome.
academy, I don't think I would have been in this position at all.
Oh,
I
you're
would
so
still
welcome. But
struggling
listen,
to
I'm
stop
not
it.
the one running around 25 different nurseries every week. Oh, brilliant. Yes, Lisa, speak to Danny. Get a call booked in with Danny, and she'll help you. Cath, do you have anything else to say to these lovely people? I think there are a few people today who will be obviously massively inspired by your story. I mean, who couldn't be? But if anyone's thinking, that sounds like me, I resonate with that. I've had things in the past, like during the pandemic, I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills either. Maybe people who are sort of thinking, well, I probably just need a school on board before I can leap in. So maybe I'll leave it till, later on in the year now, like autumn, October sort of time. What would you say to those people that they know they want to do it? They're not people that don't want to, they want to do it, but they're just thinking, maybe now's not the right time. I'll just try and do it myself for a bit. I'll just try and figure it out myself. What would you say? Because you've been in that position. What would your honest
No.
advice be on that?
Yeah, I would say join. You've got all the support there behind you. If you go into the academy, you're going to get more from it than you ever thought that you would. And if you're trying to do it yourself, you might get that one school, but you've got the whole of the support network. You've got everything there behind you in the academy. You're going to get more from it, from taking that leap now rather than waiting for later down the line. Yeah.
Do you wish, almost looking back, and I know it's a different position, different situation, because we were in the height of the pandemic, but do you think, looking back, do you wish you almost perhaps had taken action sooner if you'd have been able to?
Probably, yes.
Been able
Probably.
to, yeah.
Probably. It was just that round here we had no access to schools and nurseries at that time. So, probably it was the right time for me, was 12 months ago, to get myself in a position to be able to do things once we could go back into schools and nurseries again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you did join at the right time. You did take action and you have had amazing success. I'm so happy for you, Cath. Thank you so much for coming on and
Thank you
inspiring
very
everybody
much.
today.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
for giving
you.
up your busy time. Cath was like, I could speak to you within this window because I'm like 10 different nurseries today. And I was like, wow, like how is she doing this? So please go and put your feet up, Cath, if you've got chance to.
I will try. I might have 10 minutes.
It's all my fault and I'm not apologizing for any of it.
Oh, thank
Oh, thank
you.
you so much. I'll chat to you soon. I'll see you back in the academy soon.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.